questions. I wanted to spend a couple minutes making sure we're all on the same page so we understand what a nonconformity is. A terminology, registered mind, nonconformity. Nonconformity is a general term which refers to something that was legal at one time, it complied with whatever ordinances existed or not, but now isn't legal because the county has changed the ordinance or its rules. So it was legal, but it's no longer legal. You can have a non-conforming use, which is a use of property. Say the county zoned a particular district business, and someone had a business there, that was great. But then they changed the zoning designation of that area to residential. So now there's a business in a residential district. That's a non-conforming use because the use of the property doesn't meet the use requirements of the ordinance. You can have, and the second term under non-conformities, the broad term is non-conforming structure, sometimes called substandard structure. So that would be an example where a house was built on a residentially zoned property, say it was built 2 feet from the property line, then the county adopts an ordinance that says you have to be 10 feet from the property line. So that house, and they didn't change the residential designation, so that house still is a conforming use, still residential, in a residential district, but it's a non-conforming structure or substandard structure because it doesn't meet the performance standards of the ordinance. So just some background. Hopefully I'm not going to run out of juice here. Did you lose me? Try that. Just got to knock it every now and then. So those are the particular terms that, as we talk about this concept, make sure we have in mind so we're all talking the same language. Also, an important consideration is that I think many people believe that if something is non-conforming, and the most common term is grandfathered. This is grandfathered, and you've heard that term. Really, that's the concept of nonconformity and nonconforming uses and structures under state law. There's a common conception that if that's the case, they can do that property owner can do essentially anything they want, and the county can't apply regulations to them. That's not correct. I think many people believe that if something is non-conforming, and the most common term is grandfathered. This is grandfathered, and you've heard that term. Really, that's the concept of nonconformity and nonconforming uses and structures under state law. There's a common conception that if that's the case, they can do that property owner can do essentially anything they want, and the county can't apply regulations to them. That's not correct. The county still has the ability to be able to regulate nonconformities, and that's the statute in subdivision 2 there in 394.36 that I've attached to your agenda materials. The county board by ordinance may adopt such regulations not contrary to law as it deems desirable or necessary to classify, regulate, control, reduce the number or extent of, and provide for the gradual elimination of nonconformities, again the broad term, and occupancies, including requiring nonconformities to conform with the official controls of the county or to terminate within a reasonable period of time. So we need to all be on the same page on the front end that the county does have the ability to adopt reasonable regulations as they would pertain to registered minds, whatever the nature may be. That if operations are discontinued for a period of 12 months or more, that the nonconformity rights are lost. And I will say state law says that.
Jay, do you have an opinion on having two separate committees, one studying a ban ordinance and one studying a frac and regulating ordinance?
I think that's I think it's more of a practical issue for the board in terms of, continues, would be the same people, what they would study, but I think from a practical standpoint, it's always in the county's interest to evaluate all options that might exist in a given case.